I know, boys. Yeah! Good on you, Thomas Burgess! Good on you, Tommy! South Sydney! Yes! Yes! Go! Yes! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! 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 Go! Yeah! Yeah! Good on you, Joy! Let's go, boys! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! Yes! Good evening and afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Cody's Footy World. Hope you guys are doing very well on this Tuesday afternoon / evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, guys, I'll be giving you my round 7 NRL tips of the 2025 season. We have already gone through pretty much the first quarter of the 2025 season, and what a way we have seen this season so far. Every team has finally got a win. One team still remains undefeated, but still, round 7, it's going to be such an exciting round. We've got big blockbuster games coming up ahead. Round 7 is also, this round is also known as Easter round, where we have the traditional Good Friday clash and the Easter Monday clashes, which we'll get into very shortly. But anyways, guys, before we get into the tipping video, if you guys are new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and don't forget to comment down below your tips of what your tips will be for round 7 and what you think of my tips as well. But anyways, guys, before we get into the start of round 7 tips, we're just going to briefly go over last week's tips as well and see how I did. Alrighty, so last week for round 6, I managed to get 5 out of 8 correct this time. So better than round 5, which I only got 4 unfortunately, but did a little bit better. Fortunately, not able to get 6 or more. I'm trying to beat 6 at least. It is very tough, but I'm feeling like this week we can definitely get a 7 or even a perfect round. I have not gotten a perfect round in almost 2 years. Back in 2023, I got one perfect round that year. But anyways, let's go through the games through last week that we got right and wrong. So Dolphins vs Panthers. I tipped the Dolphins. Surprisingly, I went with the Dolphins, but 13 plus. Wowee. Tipped the Dragons to beat the Titans. Expected Titans still 0-7 now at Wynn Stadium. Now, the first one I got wrong, I tipped Brisbane, and the Roosters won 26-16. That's nuts. Now, if you guys weren't aware as well, last week I did go to Perth as well for a double-headed blockbuster, mainly to watch my boys take on the Cowboys, and I had an exceptional fun time. If you guys have not seen my Perth vlog yet, it is out on the channel. Make sure you go check it out on the vlogs playlist, 2025 playlist. On the first of 2 games, or I should say both games rather, I got them both wrong, funny enough. So I tipped Manly, lost by 6, 24-18. And for my boys, unfortunately, suffered our second loss of the year. Lost to the Cowboys, 24-16. But overall, still had a fun time overall. And then we get on to our final Saturday game, which was last week. I got the Raiders right, scoring 50 points to 12 against the Eels. So Eels cannot win the premiership as well this year. And for the Sunday games, got both of them correct. Melbourne going out 42-14 against the Warriors, and the Tigers winning 20 points to 4 against the Knights up in Newcastle. Now, Knights just getting a try. So 5 out of 8 last week. Not too bad, but let's see how we do for round 7, and let's get into the round 7 tips. And round 7 kicks off on Thursday night. So because it's Easter, we have 5 days across with rugby league. So that includes Monday night footy for the first of Monday afternoon rather, but for the first of 2 times for the year. But the first game kicks off on Thursday, only Thursday game. we have the 8th place Manly Sea Eagles going on against the St George Illawarra Dragons, who are in 10th place, taking place at 4 Pines Park. 4 Pines Park, kicking off at 7:50 p.m. Now, last week's games, the Sea Eagles went down to the Sharks over there in Perth last week, losing 24 points to 18, coming back to score 14 points, coming back from 14 points down. Unfortunately, a little bit too late there, and a few discipline errors cost them the game. As for the Dragons, they continue their long winning streak against the Titans, winning at Wynn Stadium, winning 38 points to 16 in their thrashing of the Titans in last Friday's game. Now let's go through the team changes for both teams. So for Manly, there's only been the one change. Jason Saab returns from a ankle injury on the wing, and Caton Falongo dropped to 18th man. And as for the Dragons, money man himself, Christian Tuipulotu, has suffered a hamstring injury, which sees Matt Feagai move to the starting side from 18th man. And back rower Dylan Egan has been named on interchange despite leaving the field with an elbow concern last week. Sani Falau is the new 18th man. So not too many changes for both teams, just mainly one pretty much. But this should be an entertaining game to start the round to kick off Easter round. Now we get into the head-to-head between the two. There have been 36 games between the Manly Sea Eagles and the St George Illawarra Dragons since 1999. But there have been 36 games with Dragons winning 23 and the Sea Eagles winning 13. In the past 10 games between each other, Dragons have won 6 of the last 10 games. However, Manly have won 3 of the last 5. So it has been going win-loss, win-loss. And last game against each other, Manly won 30 points to 14. And Dragons have also lost 3 of their last 4 games at 4 Pines Park. Their last win at 4 Pines Park against Manly was back in 2017, where they won a ridiculous score of 35 points to 10. I've never heard of that scoreline ever before. So the Dragons have lost their last 2 games at 4 Pines Park as well. And just some extra stats here as well, guys. The Dragons have won one of their last 7 games for 4 Pines Park. Even worse, honestly, but wowee. Ruben Garrick has scored 64 points in 4 games at 4 Pines Park this season. That's incredible. Haumole Kalani has scored 4 tries in his past 5 games against the Dragons. Christian Tuipulotu has scored 9 tries in his past 7 appearances, but he's injured anyway, so that's irrelevant. And also, this one's concerning. Manly have conceded 72 points in their last 2 games, so not good signs there from Manly. But for this game, however, being back at Brookie and the fact that Dragons have not won 6 of the last 7 games as well at 4 Pines Park, we're going to go Manly to win this one 1-12. We'll go Manly to win by 6. I reckon it's going to be a close one. 26-20 scoreline. And first try scorer, we're going to go, we'll go Ruben Garrick to score first. And anytime try scorers, we will go Tyrell Sloan. And for another anytime, let's go Haumole Olokaladu to score. So Manly to win 1-12. Alrighty, now we move into our 2 Friday games of the round 7 fixtures. The first one kicking off at 4 p.m. Yes, that is correct. No 6 p.m. game for this one. Good Friday kicks off with the traditional Good Friday clash. Emanating since 2012, this will be the 13th or 14th incarnation. It is the first place unbeaten coming off a bye, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, against the 5th place, my boys. One of the most look forward fixtures I look forward to each year, the South Sydney Rabbitohs from Accor Stadium, kicking off at 4:05 p.m. on Friday afternoon. Now, the traditional Good Friday clash dates back to 2012. The Rabbitohs have had the wood over the Bulldogs in recent times. Rabbitohs have won 6 in a row Good Friday clashes dating back to 2018. The Bulldogs' last Good Friday win was back in 2017. However, the Dogs have won 5 in a row, which they are a completely different team this year, and they get big players in this week. But let's go through the team, shall we? So the Dogs are coming off their first bye of the year. The week before, putting on a 20-0 clinical against the Knights, holding them scoreless. The Knights become the first team this year to become scoreless. And as for my boys, over in Perth last week, and unfortunately, we did lose last week, all due to sloppy errors, penalties, and Sean Kepi getting sin bin, and the Cowboys went for a 2-point penalty, went for a penalty goal, and that finished the game. So, but still had a fun time in Perth. With the double header. If you guys still haven't seen my vlog, make sure you go check it out once you're done watching this tipping video. But anyways, let's go through the team list. We'll start with the Bulldogs first. So Matt Burton finally returns after missing 3 games with an MCL injury, and Viliami Kikau as part of the extended squad as he returns from a knee injury. Bailey Hayward goes back to the bench after taking the place for Burton. Sudi Tupapiki returns from suspension on the bench. Blake Taft has gone to 18th man. So Kikau is in the halves. I'm sorry, in the reserve. Sorry, but there's a good chance he will play this game. Now I'll go through my team. Now Lewis Dodd is finally making his NRL debut on the bench day. Cody Walker, our skipper, returns from a hamstring injury at halfback, and Latrell remains at 5'8". And also, big news, Campbell Graham comes back from a calf injury and takes place of AJ, Alex Johnson, who unfortunately continues with that rib injury. He did play last week, but I guess playing that game really hurt him, so he will miss this week. He will be back next week, though. Now, it is said here that Sean Kepi has been named. However, he's gone to the judiciary tonight to get the downgrade down. If he does, he will play this game. But if he is unsuccessful, he will be gone for 2 games. I think he will probably... I think he'll get the 2 games, but we will see. And also, Jalen Sullivan is serving a 1-game suspension. And Josh Schuster is listed among the reserves after returning to the field in New South Wales Cup last week. So look out for that one as well. All right, some stats here as well, ladies and gentlemen. The Bulldogs have only conceded 14 points in their last 3 games. That shows you how much defensively they have improved. The Rabbitohs have won the last 6 Good Friday games against the Bulldogs, like I just said. Stephen Crichton has scored 11 tries in 12 games against the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell, funny study, has won 11 consecutive games against the Bulldogs. That is crazy. And here's a rather interesting stat. The Bulldogs require 1 more try for 1,000 NRL tries at a core stadium. That is crazy. So if they score only 1 try, that's 1,000 tries for them at a core stadium. That is nuts, honestly. In the head-to-head between the 2 teams, there have been 169 games between each other. The Bulldogs have won 84 games. The Rabbitohs have won 81. It is very close. And there have been 4 draws thrown in there as well. So whoever gets the win, this is a must-win game for both teams. In the past 10 games between each other, the Rabbitohs, we have won 7 of the last 10 games, including winning 6 of the last 7 games between each other. However, the Bulldogs last beat us back in 2023, where they won 36 points to 32 in a high-scoring affair, which I was at that game. It was such an enjoyable game as well. And also, this year marks the first year we're playing the Dogs twice since 2023, because last year we only played on Good Friday against them and not twice, which usually we play them twice a year. But I guess last year we didn't for some reason. And also, for this Friday as well, this will be the 38th clash between each other at a core stadium since 1999. The Bulldogs have won 19. Rabbitohs have won 18, 37 games played. If we do win, we will be tied with the Bulldogs with winning at a core stadium between each other, which that is, I mean, if we can pull off the win against them with a strong side like them, it's going to be nuts, and they will also suffer their first loss of the year as well. And as for that, I'm going to be backing my boys no matter what. We've won the last 6 Good Friday clashes against the Bulldogs. I think we'll make it 7 in a row against them. And of course, I will be there as well. I will be there doing a vlog. I have not missed a single Good Friday game since it started. So I will be there this Friday afternoon. But anyways, Rabbitohs to win by 8. Scoreline, we're going to go 24-16. And first try scorer, I reckon, will come from the Dogs. So Stephen Crichton scores first, and anytime try scorers, we will go. We'll go Matt Burton score, and for the Rabbitohs, let's go Campbell Graham to score on the wing. So, come on, bunnies, let's show up and expect a massive crowd, up to at least 70,000, they reckon. So come on, Rabbits fans, let's show up to a call on Friday afternoon. Rabbitohs to win 1-12. All right, and now we move into our other Friday fixture, kicking off at 8 p.m. from Suncorp Stadium. We have the 14th place Dolphins going on against the second place Melbourne Storm. Now, both teams are coming off wins last week. Dolphins winning 13 plus, getting their first win over the Panthers, 30 points to 12. And as for Melbourne, have extended their winning streak to 17 consecutive wins against the New Zealand Warriors, dating back to 2015, winning 42 points to 14 there at Amy Park on the weekend. So this will be an interesting game between each other. However, I think we know how this will go with one team. But anyways, let's go for the team list for both of the teams. Now, Christian Wolf has rolled out the same 17. They got the job done against the Panthers. Reid Stone has served his suspension for a high tackle and has been included as 18th man. Good news for the Storm. Jerome Hughes has been named to play despite sitting in the second half out with a shoulder injury. Valongo comes in onto the wing for his first NRL game of the season with Grant Anderson to the centres and Moses Leo sidelined by a shoulder injury. William Rawbrick and Nelson Asola Salamona remain sidelined due to ongoing concerns following concussions. So, not too many changes for both teams, but strong sides on paper without the doubt. Now, the last couple of stats here. Grant Anderson has scored 5 tries in his past 4 games. Josh Kerr will make his 100th NRL appearance. Dolphins have won 3 of the past 4 games at Suncorp Stadium. The Storm have scored 102 points in the 3 games against the Dolphins. And also, the Hammer has scored 4 tries in his past 2 games, which is nuts. Now, like we just said, there have been 3 games between each other since the Dolphins came in. Melbourne have won all 3 games, 24-16 and 30 points to 24 at Suncorp. And then in their last clash between each other, Melbourne destroyed them 48 points to 6 with the Dolphins' first trip to Amy Park in their short history so far. But can the Dolphins get their first win against the Storm? I doubt it, especially how strong this team is on paper. So, sorry Dolphins fans, but I think Melbourne are going to win 13 plus. First try scorer will go Xavier Coates. Anytime try scorers will go the Tabriai Fido. And we'll also go Elise Katoa. Elise Katoa to score anytime as well. So, Storm to win 13 plus. Now we move into our 2 Saturday games. No 3 p.m. fixture for this round. So we go to 5:30 kickoff instead. We are heading over to the Ditch in New Zealand. We have the 6th place New Zealand Warriors going on against the 3rd place Brisbane Broncos. Now both the Warriors and the Broncos are coming off very disappointing losses against the Storm and the Roosters respectively. The Warriors going out 36-0 in the first half, then to lose 42 points to 14. Granted, they won the second half, but it still doesn't matter. You can't get exposed like that, especially against a team who has got a long consecutive winning streak against you. And that's for Brisbane. Well, they lost to the Roosters 26-16 at Suncorp Stadium last week, which wasn't happy about that, but they should be able to bounce back this week. Now I'll go through the team list for both teams. Now, quite a few changes, especially for the Warriors. Now, James Fisher-Harris has suffered a pectoral injury, which brings Jackson Ford into the front row and Jacob Laban onto the bench. Joel Nicol-Cloxer has entered the concussion protocol, so Tane Tuapiki moves to number 1 and Edward Cosey comes onto the ring. Rocco Berry's 1 game ban sees Kurt Capewell shift to centre. Oh my goodness. And Leka Halasima joins the starting side in the back row today. Martin has been added onto the bench for his first game of the season. And as for the Broncos, only 1 change with Jordan Ricky returning from the suspension and Jack Kowalski serving a 1-game suspension. Jesse Arthurs has been named after the NRL's chief medical officer reviewed and downgraded a Category 1 concussion, ruling him made by the independent doctor during the Roosters game to a Category 2. A new face on the bench with Tyson Smithy coming into his first game since round 20 last year in place of Martin DePower. So Warriors there looking a lot different compared to last week. Now, a few stats here. Broncos have won 3 of their past 4 games played in New Zealand. Jesse Yuff has scored 9 tries in his past 7 appearances. Adam Pompey will play his 100th NRL game. Congratulations to Adam Pompey. And the Warriors have won both games at Mount Smart Stadium so far this year. But we'll see how they go this week. Now, this game will mark 50 games between the Broncos and the Warriors. There have been 49 games. The Broncos winning 27, Warriors 21, and there's 1 draw thrown in there as well. So this will be the 50th clash between the two since 1995. And in the past 10 games between each other, Broncos have won 5 of the last 10 games with 1 draw thrown in there. However, and also the Broncos have won 2 of their last 3 games against the Warriors as well. And the Broncos' last win back at Mount Smart Stadium was back in 2019, where they won a gritty game 8-2. Terrible game, that one. But yeah, so it's been 6 years since the Broncos have won at Mount Smart Stadium. However, the Broncos have won in New Zealand. They did win back in 2023, beating the Warriors 26-22 at McLean Park, which that's in Napier, I believe. So at least the Broncos have had some success in New Zealand in recent times. But for this game, I really want to tip the Warriors here. But after last week, they are strong in New Zealand, no doubt. But after last week's atrocious result against the Storm, I'm going to go with Brisbane for this one. They should be able to bounce back. Broncos to win by... We're going to go by 4. I reckon it's going to be really close. So, 18-14 scoreline. First try scorer comes from the Warriors. We're going to go Tane Tuapiki. Anytime try scorers, we'll go... Let's go Adam Pompey in his 100th game. And Jesse Arthur's to score as well anytime. So, Broncos to win 1-12. Alright, now we move into our final Saturday fixture. And this game is going to be the most toughest game to tip for this one. We have the 15th place Sydney Roosters going on against the 16th place Penrith Panthers. Yes, the Panthers in 16th place. My goodness. They have now suffered 5 in a row losses. They lost to the Dolphins 13 plus 30 points to 12. And as for the Roosters, getting their second win of the season, winning against the Broncos up at Suncorp last week, 26 points to 16. Now let's go through the team list for both of the players. Mark has returned from a calf injury to fill the void by Billy Smith, who has been suspended. Victor Radley has been named to start at lock after returning from a cheekbone injury. And for the Panthers, Mitch Kenny returns from a shoulder injury, while Casey McLean and Luke Garner form a new centre pairing with Isaac Tago moving to the... Isaac Tago moved to the bench? Why? And Thomas Jenkins to the wing. Jack Cole has been listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a concussion. I don't understand why Isaac Tago's on the bench. I don't understand that. That's a bit stupid if you ask me, honestly. Now, some stats here. Panthers have won 2 from 2 at the new Allianz Stadium, beating the Roosters on both times. The Roosters are aiming for 2 wins in the season against the Panthers for the first time since 2015. Dominic Young has scored 16 tries in 13 games at Allianz. Nathan Cleary requires 4 more points now to break the club's all-time scoring record. And a Roosters victory will give coach Trent Robinson his 200th win as an NRL coach. So big stakes here on the line for this game as well. Now, there have been 102 games between each other. Roosters winning 57, Panthers winning 44, and there's 1 draw thrown in there as well. And these two had played against each other not long ago, about a month ago, when the Roosters finally broke the 10-game losing streak, 38 points to 30, and like I just said, in the past 10 games between each other, Panthers have won 9 in a row, and the Roosters finally broke the losing streak against the Panthers, 38-32 in a high-scoring game in just over a month ago as we speak, which was crazy to see. But for this game, This game could go either way. I am so sick of tipping Penrith as well. I didn't tip Penrith last week, thankfully. I was smart about that one. Now, if they lose this one, red line cross through them as well. We'll cross through them rather, and they have a chance of getting 17th should they lose to the Roosters and Eels beat the Tigers. But for this game, I will go for the Roosters to win this one. This will be the first time I've actually tipped them this year as well. The Roosters to win by 6 in a close game. 22-16 scoreline. First try scorer will go Dom Young. And anytime try scorers for both teams will go Connor Watson. So a bold one. And we'll also go Paul Almighty to score. So Roosters to win 1-12. And now we move into Easter Sunday fixtures. The first game kicking off at 2 p.m. from Seabus Super Stadium. We have the 11th place Gold Coast Titans going on against the 6th place Canberra Raiders. Now, the Titans last week are now 0-7 at Wynn Stadium against the Dragons, losing 38 points to 16. And as for the Raiders, winning the last game ever played to be played in Darwin for the time being, beating the Eels 50 points to 12. Great showing from the Raiders, although that first half was a bit shaky. But still a great win nonetheless. Now let's go for the team list for both teams. Tino Falasomalau is back from suspension. Jojo Fafita and bench forward Isaac Falasomalau ankle also back on deck. Philip Sami slides into the centres, and Bo Thermal returns to back row after playing the centre last week. Glazehart and Chris Randall go to bench, and Brock Gray suspended, and Arma Hau 18th man, and Alan Fitzgibbon's reserves make way. And as for the Raiders, Zach Hosking returns after missing 4 games. So Simi Sasagali drops to the reserves in the only change that beat the Eels in the last week's game in Darwin. So quite a few changes there for the both teams. Nonetheless, this should be an interesting game. Now the Titans have lost 3 of their last 4 games at Seabus. The Raiders have won 9 of their past 10 games against the Titans, which is interesting. AJ Brinson has scored 4 tries in his past 3 games. Hudson scored 5 tries in the past 4 games, and also the Titans have not beaten the Raiders at Seabus since 2018, so this is shaping up to be a really good game between each other. Now, there have been 31 games between each other. Raiders winning 18 and the Titans winning 13. In the past 10 games between each other, just like we just said then, Raiders have won 9 of the past 10, winning the last 4 games as well. Titans' last win against the Raiders was in 2021, winning 44 points to 6. And like we said, Titans' last win at Seabus versus the Raiders was in 2018, where they won 30 points to 28. Since then, they have lost their last 3 games at Seabus Super Stadium versus the Raiders. So another team with a strong record at Seabus. But for this game, I'm going to stick with the Raiders for this one. Raiders to win this one 1-12 though. Raiders to win by 12. Scoreline 26 points to 14. First try scorer will go to Jojo Fafita. Anytime try scorers will go Xavier Savage. And will go AJ Brimson to score as well. So Raiders to win 1-12. Alright, we move into our final fixture for the Sunday games. Kicking off at 4:05 p.m. up at McDonald Jones Stadium. We have the 12th place Newcastle Knights going on against the 9th place Cronulla Sharks. In last week's games, the Sharks managed to beat the Sea Eagles over in Perth, winning 24 points to 18. And as for the Knights, losing to the West Tigers, breaking a 7-game winning streak against the Tigers, and only just scoring in the last moment, losing 20 points to 4. Shows you how much they are this year. But anyways, let's go through the team list for both teams. Now for the Knights, Tyson Gamble is taken back at number 7, while James Schiller is also good to go. Vance Crossland moves back to halfback, and Jane Bradley moves from halfback to hooker, and Jane Bradley goes to the bench. Tyson Frizzell has been named at prop, with Tyrone Thompson reverting to the bench. Matt Croker starts at lock after coming off the bench last week. Matt Arthur drops out. Jack Cogger is listed among the reserves as he looks to return from a finger injury. Now for the Sharks, Adam Faneuil-Blake has been named to play despite leaving with a groin problem. The Sharks stick with the same squad that got the job done against Manly. Ko Iro could be another 2 weeks away from a hamstring injury, so not too many changes for both teams. Now, the Sharks have won 4 of their past 5 against the Knights. Knights have only scored 10 points in their last 3 games. Shocking. Britton Nakora has scored 4 tries in his past 3 games at McDonald Jones Stadium. Fletcher Shupp has scored 9 tries in his past 7 games at McDonald Jones Stadium. And the Knights had the second best defensive record in the competition. That's only because they've had a bye. That's irrelevant. And there have been 61 games between each other. Knights winning 32, Sharks winning 28, and there's 1 draw thrown in there as well. And in the past 10 games between each other, there has been 5 games apiece. However, the Sharks have won 4 of the last 5 games against the Knights as well, including their most recent clash in last year's game, where the Sharks won by a field goal, 19 points to 18. However, the Sharks have lost 4 of their last 5 games at McDonald Jones Stadium as well. So, but for this game, I think the Sharks will get the job done here. Sharks to win 1-12. Scoreline will go to win by 12. Scoreline 30 points to 18. So I think the Knights will do a bit better this time. First try scorer, we will go Take Wilton. And anytime try scorers, we'll go Bradman Bess and Jesse Ramian. So Sharks to win 1-12. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move into our final game of the Easter round. Easter Monday sees the Monday afternoon fixture returning. We have the 7th place West Tigers going on against the 17th place Parramatta Eels. Now, the Tigers coming off a win last week over the Newcastle Knights, winning 20 points to 4 up in Newcastle. And as for the Eels, losing another game, but they conceded 50, so they can't win the premiership now this year. Playing their last ever game in Darwin, losing 50 points to 12 to the Raiders. Now we go through the team list for both teams. Now, I'll start with the Tigers, if you guys don't know yet. Lachlan Galvin has announced he's departing the club at the end of next year, 2026. He has been dropped for this game. So Jerome Luai and Adam Dewey combined in the halves. Brett Naden is back from a knee injury and slides into the centres. Luke Larotilli comes onto the wing for Gerald Skelton, who suffered yet another hamstring injury. And for the Eels, the skipper has returned quite early. Mitchell Moses plays his first game of the season after suffering a stress fracture in his foot in the preseason. Jack Williams also returns from a knee injury, while Ken Watoni returns in the back row. Mac Dury and Luke Moretti have been added to the bench. Joe Halfengowie, Ryan Madison, Charlie Gilmore, and Dean Hawkins drops out. So this is going to be a 5-3 game. This been a traditional game, Easter clash since I believe 2015, I think, or 14, one of them years. But for this week, this will be the 50th clash between each other as well. There have been 49 games. Eels winning 30, Tigers 18, and 1 draw thrown in there. Now, in the past 10 games between each other, Para have won 7 of the last 10. However, the Tigers have won 2 of the last 3 games against the Eels, including winning earlier in the year, back a month ago, beating the Eels 32 points to 6 in the second round of the season at CommBank Stadium as well. So this is going to be a really great game between each other. But for this one, despite having Moses back and Lachlan Galvin being dropped, I think the Tigers will win this one by 2 points only. 18-16 scoreline. I reckon Tigers will come back to win it with a try behind. So first try scorer will go to Parramatta. Josh Onokar to score first. And anytime try scorers, we will go Aparai Coruscant. And for Para, we'll go Isaiah Longy to score for the Eels. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap up my round 7 Easter round 2025 tips. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. And don't forget to comment down below what your tips are for this round and what you think of my tips as well for this week. Anyways, guys, I'm getting out of here. Good luck to your tips this week, except for the Bulldogs. I will be there Good Friday, and there will be a juicy vlog, just like every single game I've done every single Rabbitohs game I've done so far this year. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. See you all in the next one.